Alright, I got part of the second deck up. I know it seems a bit wacky that I have these overhangs. I didn't go on the end. Yeah, seems a bit wacky to me too, but I think it's fine. So what I did was I framed this up and I secured these in place. I measured these according to, oh, I gotta redo that. Glad I took this video. Look at that. So I gotta pull those out, push this down when I'm drilling. And the same over here too. God damn it. Oh well. I made sure the backs were flush up when I did it. But anyway, so frame this up just down here on the bench. And then I measure these according to the height of these black bins. So one of those black bins will fit in there with just like 1.5 inches of clearance, and I'll do the same thing up above there. Put these in place to hold the weight vertically, and then I can just throw the frame up on top and screw it all in. So it works pretty well, notwithstanding the fact that I screwed this up. So I'm going to actually pull these out and then drill those two and put the bolts in the other way. Glad I caught that. Alright, I got that corrected. Pulled it down. You can see I reversed the screws here on both of them. And I'm ready to put the deck on top. And then once I put the deck on, I'm going to do a whole 16-foot span, one layer above that. And when I do that, I'll show you how I'm framing these. It's relatively simple to frame them up by yourself. Even with the 16-foot span, it wasn't terrible. It's a little bit easier if you got some help, but not terrible to do yourself. Alright, I got a little predicament here. It looks like I'm a little bit tighter than my 24 inches. And so I was up there pounding on that and jumping on it, and it still ain't coming down. So I'm gonna mark here where these are. And then pop that out if I can get it out now that I've got it jammed down in there, and just buzz out a little bit of just a little wee tiny, like I think probably 2mm notch on these guys to let that fall into place. I'm gonna have to think of how to avoid that for the top layer. Oh boy, I didn't have the problem with this layer because it was the first layer going in, I guess. Alright, well in the end it just needed a bit of encouragement with a hammer. I put the 2x4 up there and got up there and hammered it really well, and it's snugged up there pretty good. Now I just got to do the same with that one. So you can see it tore up the drywall a little bit here as I was doing it, but that's fine by me. So I still got to be a little more careful with the top layer. Alright, I'm going to frame up another 16-footer. This is how I started on the other one. So you put it down on the ground, and you start at the far end. You mark every 2 feet where your cross joists are going to go. So let's get that done. Whoops. I will point out, if you have a flat floor and room to do it where you frame it lying down, like it is there, only sitting on the floor, probably easier than the way I'm going to show you. But I was working in constrained space here. I still am. Yesterday I took my canoes out of here to make more space, but so it's snowing out and I don't want to do that right now. Anyway, this works. It's how I did it yesterday with constrained space. So once you get those all marked off, then get your square out and square the lines. So I got my 9 joist cut. So 16-foot length. You put a joist every 2 feet. So that's half 16 is 8. Add 1 because of the 2 ends. You can see I'm not super duper precise, but I have tried hard to get these all exactly the same, and that's key to not winding up with trouble at the end. So how do you know how long to make them? I advise you to not trust my calculations and measure the lumber that you get. So basically, oh, that's not a square inch. Hold on. Basically, you measure, 2 of them is 3 1/4 inch for my lumber. And if you think, well, look, I'll show you. So it goes between the 2 side beams. So, and it's 24 inches. So you subtract the width of 2 of them, this one and that one, from 24. So 3 1/4 inch, 24 minus 3 1/4 inch is magic number 20 1/4, or 20 3/4, sorry. And well, that's actually, I think I'm going to have to revisit this because that's a little bit long. So I'm going to redo all these, make sure I'm 20 3/4, and try to get as precise as I can, and we'll go from there. Alright, actually that's showing right on 3 inches. I was mismeasuring before. So the 2 of them combined are right on 3 inches, so my 21 inches is correct. Alright, so basically when I did this the first time, I had the whole wall there to lean against. So now I just have these posts, so I'm doing every second one, lean those in there, and then I'm going to pick that up and put it on top of there and line things up and start drilling and screwing. It certainly isn't ideal, but it does work, and I'm sure I'm going to be able to get that top one up there just fine that way. So it's really not that bad to do. Leaning up against here, basically just take one at a time, line it up, put your square in here, make sure it's square. Put your square in here and make sure it's square this way, but also square that way as well as you're doing each one. Take your time. It is better if you have a helping hand to hold everything in place, and then it's quite a lot easier, but it really isn't impossible to do on your own. One thing I'm doing this time that I didn't do in the last ones is I'm putting in the 2 deck screws first. I find it's easier to square it up this way, and then I will drill this out and put the big structural screw in there. But it's going well. I got several attached now, and then I'll go to the ones in the middle. Alright, they're all of them are done up. They're squared. Took my time to do it. Now I take the other 16-footer, lay it on top, mark out the every 2 feet with the square, and then I'm going to flip that over and do the other side. It's not that bad. It's like I said, a little bit slower than if I had someone helping, but it goes okay. Alright, it's all framed up. Now I got to consider 2 things. One disadvantage of doing 16-foot spans is getting them in place. So one, how the hell do I get it up there over those? I think I'm going to have to get some help to take it all the way out and slowly take it back in. And then I had the other problem with the decking on the second layer, and I think what I'm going to do with that is not screw the frame in place until the decking is in place as well, which means I'm going to have to get all of these get these guys in place here to set it on. All 8 of them, I guess, is what it's going to be. We're going to need 2 longer ones here for here and here because of the extra space. This is the workbench. We'll get that all measured up and in place, and then I'll get some help to put this guy up there, throw the decking on. Alright, so all 3 layers are up now. I just got to go up there and screw down the decking. I put the decking up there before I secured these guys. I got my vertical supports, and the verticals are just secured in. They're really supporting the weight down this way, and then those are the 4 inches as well. They all got good bite into the stud. I just had a screw there to tack it in place while I was working with it, and It is built like a brick shit house, I believe. This ain't going anywhere. Now I just gotta crawl up there and tack down the decking. These things I think he must have had up there for string and lumber. You can see this thing, another one there. I'm gonna take those down. Not today, but I will be taking those down. I'm not gonna need that, I don't think, or move them out further. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but we are just about done here. So I'm gonna have a ton of storage space on 3 layers here in the floor. All kinds of storage space. This is going to be like a workbench, and in case I need that, which I'm sure I will. And like I said in a previous clip, I've got this kind of oddball thing happening here. That's just the way I chose to do it. One less vertical support. The vertical supports, I have the 4 of them, are certainly very sufficient for this. It's built really well, especially with the everything is double reinforced. So and I got 1 less vertical this way by putting them on that spacing. I'm pretty happy with it. And there it is. I shot from back a little bit further. I'm very happy with it, and eventually I'll be getting rid of some of those shelves that they left behind at the back of the garage and putting up something similar there. I'm punching a door in right there to the backyard. The garage doesn't really have an entrance into the house, but I'm going to make one into the backyard. So we'll leave that bit open, and then there'll be more shelves across the back here with another bench, I think, and nothing along the other wall so that I can get the Suburban in. Once all that crap's out of there and up on the shelves and my canoes are in the backyard, I'll be able to park my Suburban here, and I should be able to get my little Volkswagen into this bay, even with the shelving. And anyway,